Steph, I ain't even gonna say your last name. I just messed up on my last guest last name, and it was so simple. He's American and couldn't even say his last name. So I'm going to let you introduce yourself
Well,
to.
give it a try. Like if you butcher it, we'll just correct it.
All right, speak your truth. We are here with Stephanie Sapienza.
Yes.
Look at me, yo. I was scared. I didn't know because it's a lot going on. It's spelled. I mean, it's pronounced just how it's spelled. I was expecting it to be like a little,
Nah, you got it.
bad, bad.
You slayed it. Have yourself on the shoulder for that one.
Don't tell me I slay, cause look, I've been like trying to channel my inner Beyonce to, get my confidence and my self-esteem right. You know what I'm saying? So you telling me that you done gave me all the confidence. You know what I'm saying? Give me all the confidence.
Inner Beyonce. I'm loving it.
Thank you. Yeah, that's my girl, man.
The queen.
You
She's
feel
literally
me?
the queen.
You really can't say too much other than that. That's the queen. Beyonce do it, it's right. You don't even question it.
Beyonce, you listening?
You feel me? One day. Hey, one day. Yo, tell her this ain't about me, Steph. Tell us about you. What's up, Steph? Who is Stephanie?
Where do we start? It's like a whole 29 years of an open book.
Let's start from zero. Who's the parents? How'd you get here?
So my parents, my dad's an immigrant from Sicily, Italy. My mom's born in Montreal, but her parents are immigrants from Ukraine, which is an interesting mix.
Man.
This is what you get. If people are wondering what an Italian Ukrainian look like, it's this.
Beautiful, man. I'm gonna have to give me an Italian Ukrainian baby daddy when I'm ready to get pregnant. Shoot, we have some beautiful kids, man.
Yeah, I'm a former high level athlete. I was playing at the national level for soccer. I played at the provincial level basketball. When I was younger, my parents, had me open to playing everything from track and field to tennis to badminton, soccer, basketball, baseball, softball. It's like the list went on. Freestyle skiing as well.
What?
So that's something you don't know, eh?
Dang, out here skiing?
You haven't hit the slopes, eh?
I gotta come up there. Listen, take me
Yeah.
skiing. I've always wanted to go skiing. Do you snowboard?
I do snowboard. Now I snowboard. I don't ski anymore. I had like a little bit of an incident and I've been off skis and I've just been snowboarding since.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do snowboarding then.
The joys, the joys.
Man. So how did you get to, just sticking with soccer and get to the national level with that?
I mean, at one point we had to make a decision. Like once we were playing with like the National High Performance Center, we had to pick a decision. So both when I was at the provincial level for both, I was able to maintain both. But at one point, you're training too much. You're training in the mornings. You're training after school. You're training after school. You're training at night. You're playing on the weekends. You're traveling on the weekend. It was just like almost impossible to do both.
I feel that. Was that a tough decision to make, like choosing between two different sports, or did you know that it was going to be soccer?
I knew it was going to be soccer. I often think back to wonder what it would have been if I pursued basketball more.
Mhm.
I think basketball was more of, I had like the natural vision for the game and the understanding and like the skill for it. And soccer was another one that came very naturally. It was, I wish I could go back and push myself harder than I did. But luckily I had enough natural talent that allowed me to pursue the levels that I did, which I'm super grateful for. But now, you're young and you don't always want to put in the effort that
Yeah.
normally would think back to as you're older. But all that aside, I'm more than content with the career that I've done. I'm more than satisfied with all the exposure and all the traveling I had because of soccer and met, you know, people from different cultures, people from different ethnicities, just like us able to bond over
Mhm.
the love of a sport is like something that you can't explain to someone who doesn't play team sports, who's not involved in understanding that, like, even if I haven't seen these teammates for years, like, we still have each other's backs
Yeah.
on and off the field or on and off the court, and it's like something that's so hard for people to explain. It's like something could happen to someone that I've played with years ago, but it affects me as if I still stepped on the field with them yesterday. You know what I mean? And sadly, my soccer career ended not by choice,
Mm.
and it was uh, it was quite the toll. It took quite a toll on me, and only probably in the last 2 years. So the injury happened about five 5 years ago, 5.5 years ago. And the 2 years after that, I was doing physio, I was seeing surgeons, and they kept telling me something. They're like, it's going to heal itself, it's going to heal itself. And then after that happened, it was just like, 2, 3 years since the injury. I was like, this doesn't make sense. And like, I'm a mad girl. Like, I played with a torn ACL for 6 months, and I was just like, yeah, keep it coming. you
What?
know like the pain tolerance is like was never really a factor, but like this injury, and it was an ankle injury, and it was just something so, you know dumb. It was something that, like, when I think back to it, it doesn't make sense how that slide tackle is what ended everything.
Mm.
All in all, surgeons, doctor's appointments, physios. I finally found a surgeon who said, yeah, your MRI and your physical abilities aren't matching. There's evidently something wrong. We're going to operate. So my operation was supposed to be in April 2020, but because of COVID, it was postponed. So I finally had my ankle reconstruction done in February. So I'm now just hitting 5, 6 months post-op, which is huge. But I think, like, the interesting factor in all this is everything that happened 5 years ago until now, and it took so long to actually, like, point the finger on what it was and what I was going through, and it's something that I couldn't explain. And even if as much as I tried, and like the countless nights that, like, I didn't sleep because of something that kept bothering me, and like, why, I one morning it just clicked, and I was like, wow, this is like post athlete depression.
Yeah.
This is real, and it's not something I ever heard about. It's not something that's ever discussed. I played in college, I played university, I played with the National Training Center, I played with the Quebec team, like,
Mhm.
but it's never something that's discussed,
Yeah.
ever, 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 ever. And it's like I had put on so much weight, and like I'm recently, like, trying to get back together and like get my stuff back together and be as, like, active as I can, ankle permitting.
Mhm.
So a couple months ago, I actually posted a post on Instagram, and it was just, I guess, like, a way for me to explain what I was internalizing for so long, but at the same time to kind of share those words to be like, I know I'm not alone.
Mhm.
It's impossible that I'm alone. And the amount of feedback I got from just one simple post on Instagram that,
Yeah.
like, I'm not really like, I'm okay on social media, but I'm not, posting, like, my fitness every day, or like I'm not posting, those mirror selfies. Like, that's not me, but like this was something that's real.
Yeah.
And the amount of feedback and comments and love I got back, and people that I hadn't spoken to in years, all former athletes, all people I used to play with, being like, you just hit every point that I've been experiencing, and every emotion that I've been experiencing for the last amount of years. And just knowing that, like, I could connect in that way with girls that I used to share the field with made it even more realistic. And it made me realize, like, something has to be done, you know. And it was really interesting, like when you came across and everything, I was like, wow, like, you know, you're doing what I wanted to do. Like
Mhm.
you were doing like, and it's so funny because like over the last couple of months, I've been like trying to figure out the logistics of it. And when I came across you, I was like, bam, the queen has arrived.
I'm here. Hey, look, you better stop. I'm telling you now. Beyonce must be around the corner because look, I think that's so dope. And I'm so glad that, you know, first of all, that you posted that and that you were brave enough to speak out. I know it's not easy at all, and especially to do it so publicly. And sometimes you don't know what kind of feedback you're going to get from who. You don't know who's going to see it because your page isn't private. So I was able to even find you all the way in Little Ohio. But to do that is so courageous. So I definitely commend you. And I think what's even better is that you want to do something like this to use your voice and raise awareness and share other people's stories, because no, it isn't just you, it isn't just me. And I had that same feeling, was like, man, like I don't want to tell nobody because I feel like it's just me. And then when I finally said something, there were so many people, same exact thing, coaches and athletes and whatever you need me to do for you to help you, you know, get started, I got you. Or you want to join me, we definitely talk about it. I think that's really dope of you to want to do that. When you received that type of feedback, were you surprised at all? And how did that make you feel?
You know, I think it becomes like a mixed emotion, you know, like as athletes, you know, we play in front of thousands of people,
Mhm.
you know, we're used to that type of attention in a way. You know what I mean? Like big crowds don't really phase us, right? But receiving that much love and interest in the topic was something that I couldn't believe.
Yeah.
Something
So
that I couldn't believe, you know, and it was honestly in my mind, it was just pure insanity of wow, like, and I had messages from people who, you know, if you ever listen to this, the people who it is, and we've made amends, I'm sorry. But you know, people who used to bully me,
yeah.
people who I thought were big and tough, people, you know, who were quiet, people who were outgoing, and it was just every single type of player, athlete, person that I've ever played with. And it touched every single one of us. And to know that we were all experiencing these types of emotion from a young age to
Yeah.
a later age, and it was not discussed. I was mind blown. And I was like, wow, like to believe that you know, like for us, like I started playing with the National Training Center here on our side when I was 13, 14.
Wow.
You know, at 13, 14, I was going to school from 8 to 12, and then we were training from 1 until 11 o'clock at night. You know what I mean? So to believe that girls that I was doing that with every day were experiencing the same type of emotions. And it's like any sport brings some type of, I'm going to use the word mental abuse, but not necessarily that it's coaches' intentions, but it's just everything that adds together.
Hmm.
Is, you know, like we go to school, we have, you know, potentially issues at home, we have potentially personal issues. Example being a lesbian athlete.
Hmm.
You know, we have things going on like, you know, didn't sleep well, didn't this, our periods, like everything. And
Hmm.
then just to push us and push us and push us and push us and not necessarily give us those breaks we needed, or our bodies needed, or our minds needed, or any of that was something that was kind of looked down upon,
Hmm.
you know? And it's like, I was reading like a research paper a couple weeks ago, and it was basically stating how when female athletes are going through their menstrual cycle, they actually shouldn't be performing any type of physical activity because that's when the majority of our injuries happen.
Wow.
So I was like, wow, like if that's considered, and when I think back to it, my two biggest injuries, I was in my menstrual cycle. So it's crazy. And like I had like a conversation with like a couple other teammates who had ACL surgeries or had knee reconstructions, and all of our injuries happened while we're on our periods, you know?
Wow.
Like to bounce back, like things like that. And it's like there's always that rush back to play.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, okay, well, like, are you ready? Are you playing? Or like, you know, are you benched? And it's like, you know, you don't want to disappoint your team. You don't want to disappoint your coach. You don't want to disappoint yourself. So you push yourselves into situations where your body's like,
Exactly.
take a break. Like, you know, like I think back, we were training in the mornings before. We were going for morning runs. We had, you know, weight training. We had cardio training. We would occasionally have yoga. We had on-field training, tactical training, you know, like all of that in one day. You know, and it's crazy to think back to that. And like I always wonder, like, if I knew what my body would feel like now, would I still have done it? And it's like a question that I have not answered yet. It's a question that I think about every day, but like the stars aren't aligning in what athletes need at amateur levels, or even just certain discussions that should be held that aren't being held.
Definitely. Why do you think that why do you think that as teammates we don't talk to each other? Because I ran into that same issue also, where we all were kind of experiencing the same things, or even my teammates maybe saw me experiencing things, but nobody said anything. And then also, why aren't we, as now, like, I don't know if you're coaching or anything, but I was, and you know, as coaches and trainers, why aren't we having that discussion yet still?
I think it because it remains in a space of unknown, and it's not a norm. It's still something that's looked down upon, you know? Like it's not a topic that people have and it ends on a positive note.
Mm-hmm.
It's a topic that people have and it ends up, well, you're not strong enough. You can't perform if this is how you're feeling. While on the contrary, I think if once I finally open up about it, I'm free. You know, I don't have that weight holding me back anymore, or that fear of, you know, something pulling me down. I'm liberated, you know, and I think deep down coaches want to have these conversations, but one, don't have the training to, don't know how to, and are scared to. And I think, like, you know, if we think back to some of the relationships we may have had with former coaches, you know, where they're like our best friends, those relationships with coaches don't exist anymore because of, you know, everything around sexual assault, everything around, you know, that type of thing. And it's crazy because like I've had, you know, coaches that we went to nationals with, we won nationals, amazing group of girls,
Yeah.
best memories. And our coach, we were 16 at the time, but we had coaches who were only 25,
Wow.
but they brought us to be national champions. And, you know, they were our best friends. We, you know, would all watch movies in the same room, and that wasn't weird. But if you look at athletes now, I don't even think the coaches could be on the same floor. You know what I mean? So it's our world takes steps forwards, but also by doing that, we take steps back. And it's not, yes, there are some coaches who abuse their power and stuff and things, but it's not all coaches, you know, and I think a lot of athletes prefer to know that their coach is their best friend and their coach is there to listen than already creating a bigger boundary between the two, where that's someone we spend the most of our time with. If that person doesn't know me better than I know myself, then we're not going to win. You
That's
know, we're not going to win. We're not going to succeed. We're not going to, you know, build together because we're already creating that wall between a coach athlete relationship. It's like a two-ended sword, you know, in any situation, some people could be listening to this and be like, oh my God, no. Other people could be listening and be like, yeah, well, you know what? The coaches that we've had the best personal relationships are the coaches during the seasons we've had either the most success, the most fun, or were the most confident.
Yes.
And
I,
it's crazy how, to look at that and whatnot. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I think there's just not enough open discussion worldwide still about mental health, about LGBTQ plus athletes, about any of that. It's still, sure, we're in the 21st century, but there's still those boundaries. There's still well, I don't know how to have this discussion because I don't really know the pronouns to use or the terms to use, or, sure, I could talk about mental health, but like, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not trained for that, but it's not even about that. Like sometimes it's just knowing that someone's just there to listen, you know?
exactly. I agree 100%. So speaking of being an LGBTQ athlete, can you talk about your coming out story? And did that specifically, or just being LGBTQ in general, affect your mental health?
I came out at a young age, and family wise, I am beyond blessed, beyond blessed to have my parents and have such accepting parents. And my parents always stood by me and supported me, and I'm forever thankful because I know people who in that sense didn't have it easy.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of um, being an LGBTQ athlete and coming out at 16, 17 while playing at a high level, being surrounded by, we were 30, 40 girls training together every day.
Mm-hmm.
So we were basically, it's the best of the province that were practicing together every day for opportunities with the national team. So when the national team needs players, they come look through us.
Okay.
Like we're basically the athlete bank. So, I was playing with girls. We were ranging from the ages of 13 to 17, 18, 19, 20. So that's like a fairly big gap. And I came out when I was 16, 17. I mean, we all kind of, I want to say we all kind of experience this when we come out, but people always know that we're gay before we know we're gay.
Yep.
And like I was always, my parents raised me as an open book. My parents raised me as someone to just, be honest and kind of just say it how it is.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it plays against me, but ultimately, I think it's like a good trait to have in terms of, just kind of staying true to yourself and staying honest. So long story short, coming out, I had a boyfriend prior, and he was super, super supportive and, kind of said, you know what, if that's how you feel, like explore it. And then, separation happened between us because of like distance and so what. But anyways, long story short, my first partner was actually someone that I used to play against during our club games, like our normal season games. And no one knew. It was simple like that at first because no one knew. And then when we'd play against each other, our parents would drive off, and then we'd re-meet together, and we'd go in each other's car, and then we'd go to whoever house we were going to. So that was all fun and all, great first partner, very like helped me kind of come out and like express myself how I wanted to, really pushed me to be like, this is who you are. Like, you shouldn't be afraid, just be you. And, the people who will accept you deserve to be in your life, and the people who don't accept you don't deserve it. Luckily, my first partner is still someone in my life, and I'm forever thankful for her and, the friendship that we have now 16 years later. But yeah, so once people started finding out, it was it was really brutal. Like it was really something that I struggled with. Coaches never had that conversation with me to see if I needed something. And I mean, this is also like, I'm 29 now, so let's do the math. 16 is quite some time ago. But all in all, it's crazy because I look back to it now, and I've had coaches who coached me. The cats are playing.
It's okay. They can be on the show if they want.
You know, like it's crazy because like I've had coaches come back to me years later and be like, hey, like, you know, like I'm thinking back to it now, and like I'm sorry I wasn't there for you when you needed it. You know, and still now, you know, they'll bring up the point like, you know, I still don't really know what I could have done or said. Like I still don't know. You know, I'm not fully there yet, you know, to be that support, but like I'm trying, like it's more of a discussion now, which is great. And I'm super thankful for those conversations too. But, you know, yes, it's nice to hear that now. But when you hear these conversations, it only makes you remember everything that happened. Right. And it's like stupid comments too, like that you'd think of now and like someone would say it and you just keep walking, you know? And basically, I think all the teammates that I played with then, now are okay. I think because the discussions are had, we've all grown up. But then again, at 16, 17 years old, you know, in your mind, I think what's the only thing that's going through your mind is popularity, is to be liked by everyone, is to do this, is to do that, is to, you know, it's not necessarily thinking someone's feeling, someone's this, how are they, you know, it's not the conversations that people are having. I was bullied a lot for being a lesbian athlete. I was also the only one on my team at that time too. Once I came out a couple years later, other girls that I played with came out, which was really nice. But at the same time too, the girls who came out were also part of the girls who kind of bullied me in that, right? So we know the vicious circle, the denial, we understand that. But it's just sad because people, like when I speak about coming out then, and I have that discussion in the present time, people are like, oh, well, it must have not been that hard. And I'm like, this is 13 years ago. This isn't today. If I came out today, that'd be a whole different story. But I'd be judged for coming out at 29 years old.
Yep. He's gonna be judged either way, right?
Exactly, you know, and it's at the end of the day, like I started telling myself, and it's a lot of like personal growth too. And like I lost friends because of it. I had friends that I lost who came back and kind of like woke up and were like, yeah, you know, I was wrong. Like, I don't know why I acted like that. Like, I'm terribly sorry. Like, you know, I could admit where I was wrong, you know, and those are great conversations that I've had with some people. But it's sad because gay people have been around forever.
Yep.
And we will be around forever. Like, you can't get rid of us. We're not a sickness. We're not aliens. We're not robots. Like, we're human. And what we do behind closed doors and who we love should never affect us as an athlete, should never affect us as a coach, should never affect anyone's lifestyle, because it doesn't matter. It's our own personal decision. And you know, it who I love didn't change me as an athlete.
Exactly.
It didn't change, you know, my goal scoring records. It didn't change any of that. You know, and with my club team, it was a lot easier, but like university, I I was, and this is 2012.
Okay.
I could not believe that type of behavior was happening. I had the worst experience playing college,
Wow.
university soccer as a LGBTQ athlete. Terrible.
Why? What happened?
You know the classic, like, oh my God, you're looking at me in the locker room.
Oh, come on.
And then you have to literally, I used to go change in like a bathroom and then come in when I was ready just to avoid all of that. Because there was girls that I played with who were very self-conceited. And, I remember kind of looking up one day and saying, "Do you really think you're my type?" And the worst part was throughout that time, like I had a partner, but like no one, it was so clicky that as a first year being the same, like our school system's a little interesting because I went to like I did all my education in Quebec, the province that I live in, but
Okay.
I went to university in a different province. But
Okay.
basically, like our high school goes until grade 11, and then in Ontario, high school goes until grade 12.
Hmm.
So basically, that kind of already adds an age. But then once they finish grade 12 in Ontario, they go straight to university.
Okay.
But for us in Quebec, which is the only province that does this, we go to college. So we do like a 2-3 years. It's like a pre-university. So
Hmm.
you'll specialize in like social science, health sciences, police academy. There's like paramedics. Like we have pre-university programs like nursing, that it's basically like an in between that allows you that opportunity to kind of choose what you want to do before you make an investment in going into university.
Sure.
So because of that, it already creates like an age gap difference. So when I was coming in with first years, they were like 17, but I was 21.
Hmm.
So I had to hang out with 17-year-olds, even if I was the same age as the third years.
Yeah.
So it made it like really awkward. And then I lived with fourth years. So it was like I was in like a really weird situation. The girls that I lived with were aware of it, but there was other girls like in second and third year who I guess had like don't know what a lesbian is.
What?
Like, and you're in university, you know what I mean? That's what I was so shocked
Yeah.
about. But anyways,
You experiment anyway.
like,
Supposed to.
you know, big
Man,
years.
you feel me?
Big years. Like, but anyways, it was really like I had never seen myself get angry like that. And it's
Yeah.
the first time like I'm very good at, people say things and I just keep walking and I laugh. Like I'm always laughing. I'm always, joking around on stuff. But like I don't know. I don't know if I was on my period that day. I don't know what was going on.
You're gonna blame it all on the period from now on.
Legit. Injuries, moods,
For real.
cramps. Having to do, long distance running. I got my period. I have cramps. Bring on the intervals. Long distance, not my thing.
Hey, I'm already knowing. I'm with you on that.
But and I couldn't believe that someone 23 years old can make that comment. Where are your eyes looking? And I said, I was tying my shoe, but do you really think you're my type? And like I had never seen myself react like that, and it was just like traumatizing for me.
Wow.
It was traumatizing. Like
What?
I couldn't believe it, like, and besides that, like, I hear other people's stories, and like I have friends who have gone through like way worse.
Mhm.
And I consider myself to have had it really easy, but I think it's also based on like how I am and how I could brush things off very easily. But man, that day I was not happy.
I believe it, man.
Not happy. Let's just say warm up that game was not a friendly one.
Man, look, I already know because that's like one of the most frustrating things for me being gay is women thinking you like them. No, at the end of the day, I'm still a woman. So if I want to say, oh, girl, you so pretty or you look good, I like your outfit, that's not necessarily me being gay. That's me being nice. Like,
Exactly.
yeah,
We're
that's
happy.
so annoying. Yeah, like damn, can't even be nice. And then with men, it's the same thing. It's like they don't know how to take that either. So I can't even compliment them. Like I like compliment men. If you smell good, you look good, your haircut.
Yeah.
I might be saying because I get my haircut too. Shit, I might want to get the same haircut as you. Like just take a fucking compliment and leave it at that. It doesn't mean that I want to have sex with you. And my biggest thing I think is like men, especially, no matter when they start watching it, they'll watch two women have sex on porn or they'll fantasize about it. They'll watch threesomes, but we can't do it by ourselves. We can't do it in real life on our own. You know what I'm saying? They just have to be in control. So that's all it is. And I really don't care because I'm keep doing it. And I didn't wake up and just say, oh, I'm gonna be gay. Why the fuck would I wake up and just say that when I know that, like you said, they treat you so bad?
Putting a target on her back.
You know, I just want to be the most hated person. I'm already a woman. I'm already Black. Let me just go ahead and be gay too. You know what I'm saying? I'm already dark skinned. Let me just go ahead and be gay too. Like, what the hell? But I don't know. I didn't wake up and you know, want to be like this, but I can't say I'm glad for so many reasons that I am gay. Women are amazing. I love being a woman. I love women and also men. Just dumb, man. I can't say, I don't know what else to say. Just like ain't too much going on up there. I can't deal with it. They a little too slow.
Rest assured, like my best friends are men.
See? And that's what I'm saying. Like I love men, but I can't stand them. I can't stand them. Love them, but can't stand them. Now
I think, you know, at the end of the day, like I really hope that we get to a point in society where it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter, you know, like my fiance and I, we recently just got engaged a couple months ago. You
Congrats.
know?
Yes.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Can I be the flower girl? Look, I've been begging people to be somebody's flower girl. Okay.
You want to do the wedding? You could do the wedding.
Now, I don't know if I like doing it. I need to throw a couple flowers and take my seat. You feel me? That's
throw them a little harder at the men.
I got you. I might throw something else at their ass. Just put something else in there for them. Nah, I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna be nice. Look, I love men. I really do. I think it's just that because I am so comfortable being me and expressing myself as me, they don't know how to take that. I'm not flirting with you. I'm just really, really nice, and I'm not afraid to say what's on my mind.
But it's honesty, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it's not because you compliment someone that you're, you know, pursuing them.
exactly. I remember somebody, another fellow lesbian, told me that I never thought about this, that men, when they look at you, the first thing they think about is, can they fuck you? And then after that, you know, that's how they treat you. So that is my only issue is like, you know, treat me how you would treat anybody else. No, you wasn't gonna fuck me anyway, even if I was straight. Like, who do you think you are? Like, that's my whole thing. Who are you that you thought you was gonna get some of this? But like, you know, just treat me like a regular person. Like, you ain't gotta treat me, you know, so special. Like you said, we don't have a damn disease. Like, I'm not Queen Elizabeth. Just treat me like a regular person and leave it at that. The stares get very annoying, especially from men. Like, just say what's on your mind, whatever it is. I'm not gonna bite. I might punch you in the face depending on what you say, but like, just say what you mean. I don't like being stared at. So I think that's my thing with men. And then also because they don't like being talked back to. So if we got something to say, we always are bitches, or we want to be, well, for me personally, I want to be a man, or, you know, all this stuff. Why can't I just be a woman who stands up for myself? That's
Yeah.
the whole thing with me.
You know, I think like we always come down to the same thing. And I think there's still a lot of stigma. And I think the stigma is even worse towards male straight athletes.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because we're around them more, but it's crazy how like these stigmas exist that, you know, gay people are sexual predators.
Right. Right.
You know, and then there's the whole stigma around straight male athletes that they're unbeatable, unstoppable. But then again, you know what I mean? Like I don't want to generalize that because some of the best guys that I've met are also athletes. You know, they do a lot of social work and, you know, they're really involved. But it's just, it just comes down to education.
Yeah.
And I find our education system is so backwards.
Yes. Even up there in Canada?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What?
Like I don't know why in school, kids aren't learning how to save money to buy a house, how to do their taxes, or at least how to prepare for their taxes, or, how to budget properly, how to, you know, how to identify just who you are, how to be accepting, like the basis of humans.
Mm.
Like if we taught kids, and it's not teaching kids like, oh, this person's a woman of color, or this person, identifies as a trans male, or this person, you know, we're just humans at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
That's all that matters. You
Exactly.
treat people the way you want to be treated, and it's simple.
That's
People have their different preferences. We accept their different preferences, and yes, it's important to understand, queer, lesbian, gay, straight, bisexual, but sometimes too, just accepting a human for, who they are
mm-hmm.
goes a lot further. And it's my brother is also gay.
Wow. Jeanette.
Yeah, the double sibling.
You feel me? That's crazy.
um we have a 6.5 year age gap.
Okay.
So when I came out, as gay, he was really happy. But again, it was very evident because he played with the Barbies, I played with the GI Joes and the Tonka trucks, and I swear when I realized that Barbie's heads can come off, that triggered a lot of arguments.
I
I
bet.
my brother my brother used to make these beautiful dresses out of Kleenexes on the Barbies. Like he's super artistic, like has this beautiful eye for art. And I used to come with the trucks and go,
You are horrible.
yeah, I definitely had my fun in my own ways. But all that to say, I remember before I was even out and about, who I am now. I remember something my brother said to me stuck with me, and it's something that I repeat forever and always now because it's so real. It is so real. And he said, Steph, I hope when you're older you'll love someone for what's in between their ears and not their legs.
Mm.
And that hits. That hits. And I could never unhear it. I can never unsee where we were when he told me that, what we were doing, what I was wearing, what he was wearing, you know, the sky color, like it's all a perfect picture in my mind.
Wow.
And it's crazy because like, why doesn't that apply to everyone? Why
It
can't we
does.
just accept people based on, everything inside of them, everything they're built up, their flaws, their strengths, their weaknesses, what breaks them, what makes them, what they enjoy, what they don't enjoy. Like why don't we focus on that rather than having to label everything? Like our society is just about labeling everything.
Yes.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
It is crazy. I think it's mostly because, that's how we judge ourselves. That's how we are taught to judge ourselves by what we look like. And there are too many people who are afraid to have the types of conversations that we're having, but these are game-changing conversations right here.
It's fun.
Yeah, exactly. And real, very authentic, very, very fun. Before we get off of here, is there any advice that you have? Let me ask you this. What advice would you give your 16, 17-year-old self who is about to come out?
At the end of the day, you will always have one person, and that one person is yourself. People will come and go throughout your entire life. People will come and go in different moments of, critical moments, positive moments. Faces will change, memories will fade, habits will go, new habits will come. And I think, like just as a society now, like just we don't emphasize enough to love who you are and be confident with who you are. And then the rest, everything will just make its path, and the stars will align at one point. There will be lights at the end of the tunnels. And as an LGBTQ athlete, like, it doesn't change how you are as a player. It doesn't affect your skill, your capabilities. Will it affect your performance? 100%, but only if you let it. I think it's just the importance of self-love.
Yeah.
Self-love.
I
Such like
love it.
a simple word, but the most powerful word you could think of is just loving yourself and accepting yourself for who you are, and like the path that life will put you on is, you just got to figure it out. A perfect life wouldn't be a good life.
Mm,
It's the obstacles and, the ups and downs that bring you to your happy ending.
damn, Steph.
Yeah. Woo!
That was deep. You made me forget. I was about to ask you something else. Damn, that was so deep.
Just for you.
Hey, look, I'm gonna go back and watch this and write all that down. I got space. I got a lot of space on my back to get tatted, so that's gonna be my back tat. Yeah, man, you so dope. I want to be like you when I turn 29. I turned 29 in like 2.5 weeks. So I
Ooh.
want to be like Steph. I know I'm growing up, man. Growing up out here.
Number.
Yeah, Virgo. Young Virgo.
Virgos are the best. I get along with Virgos.
What are you?
Gemini.
No comment. Steph, Sapienza, y'all. Hey, we getting along now, so hopefully we keep it like this. But I'm gonna just say no comment because Gemini's, yeah. Steph,
Hey,
Sapienza. Huh?
we just finished talking about how you have to accept people for who they are.
You can accept it, you ain't got to put up with it though.
Hey, no one says that's the traits I display.
See, look, no, you just snap. You just went Kanye on me. You just went from small.
You like that switch, eh?
I was about to say the Italian just came all the way up.
It took a lot of emotion to like try and keep a straight face.
So you worse than me. You can't keep a straight face.
Of course.
It ain't just me. Yeah. Is there anything you want to say to the audience before we get up off you?
Thanks for listening, and hope to be able to talk to everyone again soon. This was awesome.
Of course. Always down to do part twos. Always down. Part 2, 3, 4, 7, whatever you want to do.
Hey, this could last a lifetime.
No, look, I can't podcast forever. I got other stuff I gotta do in my life now. I can't do this forever. You can take it over. Shit, you can do it.
Amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Thank you.